deserve to have the best physical, mental, spiritual, Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. See how I had the episode? That was kind of cool. I never done that before, but this episode of Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis, I've got a very cool guest tonight, which I'll be introducing here shortly. But some cool things, it's come full circle. We were just talking before the show and how we were actually connected through LinkedIn and how we got connected through LinkedIn and kind of the method behind it. Of course, it was back in the day when I was, of course, still coaching, of course, with my kickers. But I had this little stretching device that I thought was pretty cool, and I saw it as like a ski magazine. And so I'd contacted the company and said, I want to use this for my athletes, and send me some samples, and they did, and they were great. I can't remember the name of the company and the actual item itself, but super cool thing. And again, this world is full of surprises. It's really cool how you come full circle with people, and not only that. My guest this show is going to talk a little bit about what he's doing, clearly a lot about what he's doing, but also the people that he's got on board with him. We were talking about Tim Tebow just right before the show started, and I was mentioning that Tim Tebow's from Jacksonville, right here in my I almost said hometown. It's not my hometown, but my town that I've retired in and I lived in, and so I've been here for a long time. But I've kind of I've met Tim at a boxing thing a long time ago, and super cool guy, and a lot of things he's doing in the community now, of course, with the sex trafficking and things like that. But he's all into health and hope and all that. And I'll have our guest share, if he wants to, a little bit about that and what's going on. But he's got Colt McCoy on his board, as well as some of his the people that are supporters, Tim and his wife also as well. So. Very influential. I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued in learning about what he's got going on. I've kind of did some research on some of his projects, and it's just incredible stuff that he's doing. And we need more people like him. And you're going to know why. He fits very well with this mindset, our mindset here at Zealous Wellness, because my personal opinion about our bodies is how they can help heal themselves, naturally. And, my opinion about big pharma, it's a mess. It's just a revolving cycle of money and greed and power. And it's awful. And I love and I enjoy people like this who have looked outside the box and actually, understand that the way we're naturally healing, ourselves and dealing with issues with one of his kids, actually, his last born daughter had some issues. She had a stroke during birth. Or at birth, and that's just crazy. It's incredible. So they, of course, doctors are telling him that there's nothing's can't do anything for you, or whatever the case may be. But he found solutions, and she's still dealing with some stuff to this day. But definitely an incredible story. I'm definitely going to have him share a little bit about that as well. But before we get started, I want to just have a quick word from our sponsor, and when we get back, we'll introduce Dr. Clint Phillips.
It is possible. It's different this time. I'm showing up for myself because now I know that weight isn't about effort alone. It's not just calories in, calories out. For years, the world told us it was simple. Eat less, move more, try harder. But science has shown us it's more complex than that. It's a real metabolic condition. That's where GLP-3 comes in. Powered by MBC 267. A naturally derived peptide complex discovered in salmon from the Norwegian Sea and select mushrooms. GLP-3 works with the body's own system to help manage appetite and support metabolic balance. No fighting your body, no forced outcomes, just support where it actually matters. Because when you address the real factors at play, progress feels possible. I'm becoming the best version of myself. This is me and GLP-3.
All right, welcome back. And I have on the show Dr. Clint Phillips, all the way from Cabo San Lucas right now. He's actually stationed out of Austin, Texas, but as a visionary founder and provocative thought leader and relentless optimist, Clint has spent more than 25 years at the intersection of medicine, technology, and human performance. From treating members of the Forbes 400 at his Aspen Back Body clinic to founding Second MD, now trusted by over 300 Fortune 500 companies, and launching Medici. It's a DNA and AI-driven concierge health platform. Clint's career is defined by one thing: removing barriers to world-class care. His mission is deeply personal. When his daughter Gabby suffered a stroke at birth, Clint endured 7 agonizing months navigating a broken system waiting, begging, and failing to access the right care. That experience became the spark for everything that followed. Clint today speaks with rare clarity and urgency about a radical truth. Disease is far more preventable than we've been led to believe. That was exactly my point earlier. As a former rugby player, USATF track and field national champion as well. He's also a Guinness World Record holder. We'll share a little bit about that as well. But Clint lives in what he teaches, pushing limits physically, mentally, and systematically. Whether keynoting SXSW, the Human Capital Summit, or global leadership stages across 50 plus countries, he blends humor, hard-earned wisdom, and fearless honesty to wake up the rooms full of CEOs and change makers. His upcoming book, Your Doctor is an Idiot. I love it. That book pulls no punches, calling out the outdated medical training and challenging leaders to reclaim control of their health in an AI-driven world. Clint's been married for 22 years to Jade and father to Clinty, Faith, and Gabby, who, like I said, continues to defy the odds with regards to her issues. Okay, so Clint is also building a village for 1,300 people in Zambia. Sorry. His philosophy is simple and non-negotiable. Push for something. Hashtag. I love it. I'm going to use that. Push for something. Hashtag. Dr. Clint Phillips, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you, Mike. What an honor to be here, and sorry for that long blurb that somebody gave you to read there. It's an honor to be on a Legends podcast. And I think we've got so many things in common, passions. We come from very different worlds, but probably arrived at many similar conclusions about health, performance, wellness, and the broken healthcare system.
That's awesome. Yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I think it's a perfect fit, and I like to ask my guests, like, where did you get started with this? I know that the issue with your daughter, Gabby, that sparked something, but was there anything before that you had an interest in? Obviously, you're an athlete, so I'm sure you're well in tune with your body and what it needs.
Yeah, being in sport early in high school, I wanted to get better, and I learned a little about nutrition, and it's like, wow, you can really move the needle, and learned a little about sports psychology, and was like, wow, there's so much you can actually impact. But I had very short-lived grandparents. My grandparents died in their 60s. My dad died at 55. And so at 20 years old, I was really interested in, can you change this? This is before Google, before you can get on and easily learn. And so I found a book by Dr. Kenneth Cooper called The Power of Regaining Youth. And it wasn't an exact fit, but it started opening my eyes that there is a lot you can do to impact your long-term health. Because we didn't know, is it 90% genetic? Is it, environment? But I didn't want to live to 55 like my dad. And he was in bad health for 10, 20 years before that. So this was very interesting for me to go, can somebody change their stars in health? So I think that was a catalyst. I go to school to study to be a physical therapist, doctor of physical therapy and chiropractic. And now I'm learning so much more. And I go, this is really interesting. And then the situation with my daughter, that's really what just galvanized, like, wow, the needs are so huge, more than just helping sports people. I thought that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just help sports people be their best performers. And then you realize, man, there's a whole country, there's a whole world who needs support and a very different pathway because the solutions are not there for them.
Yeah, and the thing is, we go back in the history of talking about where our textbook come from and where they initiated, where our medical industry, where did we learn what we're learning, right? And we've kind of, in some rabbit holes, we've determined that there's a lot of bad people behind the scenes that have been responsible for our education. And so as we get older, and I think we're, I'm telling you, ever since COVID, I really opened up then. I had some questions before COVID, but COVID was like the biggest eye opener for me. It's like, you got to be kidding me! Like, they're incentivizing us for taking this free shot. Like, and now we know, the rabbit holes continue to open up. Now the Epstein file, all this stuff, right? Well, so that's why I think we want to take the initiative, because I honestly, I'm having a lot of trust issues now. Like, what's right for me, what's best for me. And so have you run into some of those concerned people that, and I'll bring up my family. They're from Washington State. They're very, the rule followers will say, not that I'm not a rule follower, but they just, my doctor says this, I'm like, I would rather not hear that, because I don't think your doctor is telling you the right stuff, honestly. No, I'm not a doctor.
Yes. No, I think, unfortunately, we have lost a lot of trust in our big institutions. We don't really trust what the media tell us, and the medical establishment, whether corrupt or incorrupt, is just not prepared to be able to help people live healthy, long lives. I've gone from saying the system is broken to saying the system is actually doing exactly what it was designed to do, to generate $5 trillion a year. It is designed to make money, and it is performing exactly like it's doing its job to make money. But to keep you healthy, my goodness, that's a long way. So in my book, and I'm happy to dive into any of them, I criticize the government, both parties. They have, there's a fun Babylon Bee. I follow their comedy, and they put a picture of it. Says the world's healthiest man does exactly the opposite of what the government tells him. And if I can just rant on that a little bit, we were told that we should limit salmon and eggs and eat crackers, and starch. And you're like, did anybody even just order blood tests for 50 people and give one of them crackers and give one of them salmon eggs, and see who lived better? So, and then we saw the government say you should stop eating peanuts for kids, and pediatricians put this around the country, and then we get a peanut allergy, and then they're like, 30 years later, actually you should introduce nuts. And then the kids, so almost everything we've been told. Don't even get me started on how the government told us that natural immunity, on the website for years around COVID, they said natural immunity is not as good. Never had there been anything ever before, but all of a sudden now they knew instantly at the first natural immunity doesn't work. So I think we have to, and I'm not trying to beat up on anybody in particular, I think we have to really question, and we have to know where we're going to get our trust from, because it ain't from big government, big pharma, or big hospital that's going to make you the healthy person you desire and may deserve to be.
Yeah, yeah. And just looking at your resume with that second MD, with it basically is dealing with different opinions. So it's kind of like, and I played football, of course, and I had my back issues, and I'd have multiple opinions from different doctors about what's the right method of care and what we want to do from this point on. So is that something that you obviously, does it fit in your mindset, is let's get some more opinions and from maybe different types of doctors? I know you mentioned chiropractic earlier. Do you know Dr. I'm looking for him right now, Dr. Artie? Have you heard of Dr. Artie?
No.
Okay. He's been pretty popular on the internet now, as far as just different, been on podcasts. I don't know if he's been on Rogan yet, but he's a chiropractor, and he's now into health and wellness, and he's very anti, the vaccines and all that stuff. So he would be a good connection. I don't know him personally, but I just got some of his products, though. He has some electrolyte products. I'm like, I got to try these. And actually they're very good. It's got magnesium in them too, which is super cool. So very, very cool stuff. And I know that we need more people like you that actually want to look at outside the box and have our own mindset and kind of educate ourselves based on what we believe is truth. And I really enjoy that mentality. With your Medici, I have a hard time saying Medici or Medici. You were talking earlier about it's an Italian term is the Medici, or a family, I think, is a Medici. But tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that organization, what that does.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you about Second MD. What was really amazing, we built it because we couldn't get answers for my daughter, and we were told she'd never walk, she'd never talk, and that there wasn't much we could do. And you're like, there must be something you can do. And I don't even know how good the doctor is, but you got second opinions in your career. What's interesting is when you get a second opinion from another surgeon, you run the risk that the surgeon says, yeah, you need the surgery.
Yeah.
So we built up a network of the 800 best doctors in the country from top hospitals across every top department. But we made sure that they were not your treating doctor. They were your advisor. So they were never incentivized by, wow, I'm going to make money if this person comes to see me. We're like, you're never going to do surgery on this person. You're going to give them advice. And they'd be like, well, yeah, you don't need surgery. Well, sometimes the person did. 1 in 3, the surgeon's like, yeah, you need it. 2 out of 3 times the surgeon's like, nah, if you were my kid, there's no way I'd let you get surgery. So setting people up in an environment where you've aligned the incentives. So we said, doc, we're going to give you $500. We're going to give you $1,000 to give the very best advice. That's all. There's no bonus if you steer them this way, if you steer them that way. So even the same doctor, you walk into them in their hospital, they order $5,000, $10,000, $30,000 worth of unnecessary tests. But you get them online and you're like, doc, come on, man. Like just you and this person one-on-one, what do they need to do? And the doc's like, don't worry about any of that. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to ask. And here's what you need. And top cancer hospital doctors would say, hey, for that cancer, you don't need to travel all the way here for this hospital. If you'll follow this regimen, you can do it at 500 different locations. And that's the opposite of what you got told often, like you have to. Now, for certain things, you might have to go to that hospital. So there are, there's always the exceptions. But we just really wanted to make healthcare easier and to make information easy. And matching the right doctor with the right patient, sparks flew, magic happened, and many people, many people are alive today because they sat there one night and said, doc, help me, man. Like, this is what they're telling me. Is this right? So that was beautiful. We sold the business for more money than I could have ever dreamt of having. I was taking $110,000 salary, and somebody offered us $460 million.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, what do we
Let's think about this. Okay.
And they said, we can help your business help even more people. That's when, it appeals to like, whoa.
That's when you know it's right.
Yes. It's one thing to be good for me. It's another thing when it's really good for the world. And so that was, really the motivation around that. But my next business, I didn't want to be in the business of making the best out of bad circumstances. Often you came to us, you had been on the wrong chemo, you had terrible diabetes advice, and we were just trying to you had already had 6 bad back surgeries. Like, we can help, but, you can't do the same thing. With Medici, we said, you know what? What if you never got sick in the first place? What if you never got diabetes in the first place? What if you never got cancer? Instead of saying, well, should I do this chemo or that chemo? Like, you never got it in the first place. How much can we prevent? And the data shows that you can prevent a massive amount of disease. We've known since the 80s that 90% of cancer is avoidable. Mm-hmm. But you go to the hospital, you go to MD Anderson, ranked, always, 1 or 2, and you say, how do I avoid getting cancer again? I've heard this from 300 people. They're like, well, just come back for regular testing. Come back in 3 months or come back. You're like, no, that's not helping me avoid it. That's helping me catch it early, which is good. Yeah. But how do I not get it again? And they don't tell you what they can do. Like, here's the compounds in your house. Here's the dietary mechanisms. Here's what your DNA lends itself well to. So Medici was really the vision of, we want to help people avoid the diseases in the first place? How far can we really push those bounds?
Yeah. Again, you went from reactive with the second MD to preventative, which I'm all proactive. I love this whole proactive thing. And again, we talk about just, staying healthy throughout your life, making healthy choices, exercise and diet, nutrition, all that stuff is incredibly important, especially with the whole cancer thing, because we've discovered obviously that cancer feeds on sugar. And so if you're eating a high carbohydrate diet, with simple sugars in it, which there's a lot of. And again, I always talk about this with the grocery stores, we're kind of handcuffed in a sense where, they've got us controlled in a sense where we have to kind of, I don't have to buy these foods, but we have to do a lot of work to make these foods, healthy for us because they're just loaded with a bunch of junk. And again, you guys might be upset with me, my audience, my viewers, but I think it was all done on purpose. It clearly was. It just seems like it's done on purpose. Look at the pyramid, the food pyramid, and look at the exact opposite change they made. Like they flipped it upside down. Like, wait, that doesn't make any, but that makes sense to me clearly. But we're making the right progress, and people like us, and of course you, Dr. Phillips, that you were doing great things, and you are clearly doing amazing stuff with regards to what you're doing, and. With regards to kind of like your history and your past, and I bring up the Guinness World Record. I want you to kind of talk a little about that. Obviously, it's not really much of with regards to your passion for health and wellness, but tell us about that. What you got going on? You got something else you're about to do?
Well, I think it's hugely related. We want to push for something. We want to, continue to expand. And my son one day, reading the Guinness Book of Records like I did as a kid, said, "Dad, why don't you have a Guinness World Record?" And I'm like, "Well, son, they're really hard." That wasn't an excuse for him. He's like, "Well, figure it out." So I read every record in the book. And one of them was like, "Eat as many chocolates as you can." I was like, I'm pretty good at that. But I don't want to get diabetes. So anyway, I ended up finding 2 records of pushing a car that were a little more around my gifting. I'm a good sprinter, but I'm not a pure speed person. And, those power athletes, I'm never going to be able to pull a train or a aeroplane. Like there's dudes that are just jacked for that.
Yeah.
And also on the other side, there's the guys who can run further than me. They're going to beat me at distance. But in between, I'm pretty good. So there was one record that was, you can go break it, 2 people pushing a car for 24 hours. And it's like 80 miles. I'm like, my goodness, I'm not that good endurance. And then the other one was pushing a car 1 mile. And I saw a picture of the guy. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good time, but I'm betting you I can beat that guy. He didn't look athletic at all. And so I was like, I'm going to take that guy. He's going down. So I start training. I get the application 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And I start training and I realize I can't beat this record. And not only can't I'm doing really well at track and I'm training. I realized I don't know anybody who could push a car. I was actually pushing a smart car, which is half the weight that you needed to push. And I couldn't break it in the smart car. I was like, no. Something's not right here. So I had to spend 2 years proving to Guinness World Record that it was fake. Ultimately, we proved he pushed it on a sloped hill. We know he didn't push it up the hill. I knew it was on that road, so that's how he broke it. So anyway, got the record invalidated, pulled my Achilles a few times trying to train. Lance Armstrong falls into my life, and he's like, "I'm going to come push cars with you." Next minute, I'm pushing cars with Lance. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And so right before my 50th birthday, I was like, hey, I better do this. I just booked the date with Guinness. Said, bring out the person, the surveyor, trained like a wild man. I woke up in a cold sweat every morning for like 12 weeks thinking people are going to come see me and I don't even know if I can break this record. So anyway, that record got broken. Many people have held the record. I think it's going to stand a long time. But somebody on your show, the type of people listening to your show are the ones who right now are already looking it up and I'm going to go break that record. I can beat that all day. So bring it, people, bring it. So that's exciting. But what I loved about it, I'm working on a new one. I didn't really ever plan to do another one. I just wanted to prove to my son I can and keep my word. So many people ask me, I do a podcast or I do an interview or I preach somewhere and people are like, well, what's next? What's next? What's next? So I started thinking. And the thing I loved most about it was the community that brought around it. People were, for the record, I had somebody in a box truck breaking wind. I had the police had to close off the streets. So there were so many people involved. So I said, I'm going to do another one here. And that was the opportunity to say, how do I do this again? Would be amazing. So I'm going to carry a rock underwater 1 mile. I've roped in some poor participants, Tim Tebow, Carl Edwards, the NASCAR legend, Riley Gaines, the incredible swimmer, and Lance Armstrong has even agreed. So we're going to go and carry a rock under the ocean, and we're going to go break a record. And the most important part is inspire some people along the way. You're going to see, a few dudes there in their 50s, like in fantastic shape, just changing the world, or at least trying to inspire somebody along the way.
Yeah. The takeaway from that, everything you've just spoken about with regards to the Guinness Book of World Records and what you're planning on doing, makes me want to, share to everyone clearly that we, again, are much more powerful than we think we are. We are much more intelligent than we think we are. It just takes some work. We're much more physically, demanding than we think we are, but just, again, take some work, take some, just about discipline. And that's really where my lifestyle, my mind frame is kind of geared around the discipline. It took a lot of discipline and some mental some mental work really to be a professional kicker at the highest level in the world, really, because that, if you think about it, everyone's looking at you. You're the one kicker on the team. You're making this kick, whether you're going to either win or lose the game right here. So all eyes are on you. So definitely, I wasn't somebody growing up that thought, man, I'm mentally strong, I'm physically strong, and I'm disciplined, and all this and that, and I'm going to play in the NFL. It was a progression. And what part of that process was me learning on the way up that progression. I learned, like, wow, I'm actually, you challenge yourself and you pass these challenges left and right. You're like, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought. And so with regards to what you're talking about, everything in your life, clearly it sounds like you've been really disciplined with and very passionate about. That's one thing clearly that I think we all kind of have when we're in the health and wellness industry. We have a passion for helping others. And I think that's a beautiful thing because
Mike, what I love that you said there is that we are more powerful than we realize. It's not an arrogant or a prideful type of thing to say. I really believe most people have never even got close to tapping their potential, stretching themselves, pushing themselves to a certain limit. I started running, track at 40, and I had no idea how much faster I could get. It was like, is this as fast? Could I shave off 1 second on a 400? Could I shave 10 seconds off? Like, you had no idea. And along the journey, you start to discover, so many things around yourself. So I would love your listeners to just let that really sink in. We are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. We all have very different talents and gifts, and most of us haven't even really learned. I've just decided I want to learn how to be a DJ. I might be terrible, I have no idea. But there's also a chance I might make a tune that will rock the world, and a billion people around the world will be dancing to. We have no idea. For you at 5'7", you're 5'7", right?
Mm-hmm.
To have a kicking record. I mean, how many people would have said this guy, 5'7", is going to go and kick this ridiculous amount of points? It's unfathomable. But as you pushed along the way, and then I'm sure you said, well, if I could figure the kicking out, I wonder what else I could figure out. Probably could figure out the business side. Could probably help other people achieve their goals. So I think that's a great point to leave people with.
Yeah, we are so much more capable of what we think. We don't think we can do things, and I'm telling you, we are. And that's, like I said, is sometimes these things kind of happen by accident, where you kind of like, oh, yeah, I'll try that. And next thing you know, you're like, wow, I actually did it. And I think that really is what keeps people limited, especially like with their health and wellness too. I think when you get into, again, I'm bringing up my family again, as far as it's just relying on doctors, relying on pills and medication. Oh, there's a I forgot about the time change. My clock is going off right now. It's daylight still because it's it's light censored. So I don't know if you can hear it or not, but But yeah, just people just they rely on others and rely on just they rely on the professionals, but we know what kind of profession that kind of stemmed from, with regards to things that aren't really benefiting us with our health. They're actually kind of making it worse. A lot of side effects. You got to take a pill for that. So there's a lot of things that we discover going through life that but you have to have the willingness to kind of be open-minded. That's what I find sometimes a little struggle for me when I'm talking to people about their health and wellness, is they're a little bit closed-minded, or they think, well, you are a professional football player, it's got to come easy for you. And I'm kind of learning some things, in the health and wellness industry. I'm studying right now currently to become a health coach. I'm learning that people are taking it a lot more easier than I thought. With regards to workout, they're just talking about just move. Just move. That's your workout. Move, and then do some sprints, once every 7 to 10 days, and do twice a week. We'll do some kind of high intensity type of lifting, and that's about it. And I'm like, wow, that's it's way less than I used to do. And what people don't realize, and I've talked about this before, is like getting over that hump. When you get into a new diet, or a new lifestyle change as far as the way you're eating and the nutrition that you're consuming, you're not going to like it for a while. But if you give it more time and just get over that hump, you'll start to realize that things will start to be more normal, and you won't feel so fearful of having to change that diet. Same thing with exercise and fitness and all that. When you first, if you're out of shape and you go into the gym, you're going to be tired for the first 2 or 3 weeks if you're kind of somewhat consistent with it. So again, we if you just give ourselves an opportunity to see over that hill and see where we can be with our actual health and wellness. And, it's a good thing. And clearly, guys like you who are offering services and information and education on what's proper health and wellness. What does that mean? Okay, well, let's talk about this. Let's be proactive and prevent diseases before they happen, which is going to require some changes in your lifestyle. Clearly. Have you noticed a lot of people that are a little bit resistant to that?
Oh, people have been, depending on where you were raised in America, you were raised around certain foods, and you just saw that as that's normal. And you sit and watch a football game, you're going to watch 27 farmer ads. Like, you are told as a person that, like, you can't hold your body together without drugs. Like, this has been indoctrinated into you. There's only 2 countries in the world who show farmer commercials on TV. And guess what? They want more farmer. They're like, oh, no, but I've got that symptom. I've got that thing. So you need it. I am, grateful to God. I've had 5 tablets in my life, pills. 2 of them were Tylenol. So, in my 50s now, I've never had to take anything. And that was because I had a mother who was like, just pray and, you're going to be fine the next day. And you really realize, like, wait a minute, like, my friends, I got sick. My friends all took that thing and they got better maybe a half a day sooner, or maybe didn't get better any sooner, but they get sick again and again and again. Like, I haven't had a sniffle in 2 years and 4 months. Like, nothing. Like, it's unbelievable. And I don't do it all right. I love chocolate and I do some things off there, but people don't even realize the incredible vitality, energy, health that is available to them. And it's not found in pharmaceuticals. Like, it is found in unlocking your passion, in social relationships, in the right type of food, in the right type of exercise. There is so much available for people, but they have to unlearn a tremendous amount. When I had my clinic in Aspen, I realized that the healthy people were listening more to their personal trainer and to their yoga instructor than they were to their doctor, because they were already realized, I'm already healthier than my doctor. Like, no, my doctor tells me that, but he doesn't look very healthy. She doesn't look very healthy. Like, so I don't know that they really can tell me how to be healthy. So these successful people were looking beyond mainstream medicine, and they were like, really, their yogi was like, more influential on their health as a result. So we think, people can live completely differently. Now, we built an app. We raised over $75 million for Medici, and we put that into technology. And we've built an app called Dr. Gabby, Gabi, named after my daughter, who had the stroke. And Dr. Gabby has got the best advice ever. I mean, I really say that because if there's a better place to get advice, we will go and bring that knowledge base into it. But she's the most preventively oriented AI. Not only can she scan your face, read your blood flow of your face, and tell you your blood pressure, heart rate, risk of stroke, groundbreaking. We've been offered ridiculous money for this. She can give you incredible advice. Hey, I've got this. What do I do? Because it's hard to stay up to date. People say, well, what about this? What about that? You cannot keep up with the research. There's nobody who can. Dr. Gabby reads 8,000 articles per week and remembers every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember 7 Instagram posts, and then I would have forgotten 2 of them like a day later. So very important to go play with the knowledge base. There's a free trial. It's $10 a month, and we just launched that she is the first AI in the nation that can write a prescription for you via AI. It's groundbreaking.
Whoa.
She can only write prescriptions in the state of Texas, but within 60 days, she'll be able to write them in all 50 states. But more importantly, she wants to help you avoid having to need a prescription. So first, she's going to do everything possible to help you. But if you do cross that line, you need something, you've got somebody who is completely unbiased. Like there's no pharma thing of like, I need to push this or make money from that. We don't make money. In fact, every time we write a prescription, we lose a little money because it costs us to be able to send the prescription to the pharmacy, to their system. So if she's writing it, it's not because we're making money. It's the opposite of the whole medical establishment. We make money when you're paying us and you're not having to need a prescription is really the model with it. So we are so excited about what impact, because we think Dr. Gabby can help 1 billion people have a preventative answer, because that question that comes up to mind, what should I do about this peptide? What should I do about this diet plan? Is magnesium right for me? Well, what type of magnesium do I need? Do I need the glycinate? Should I do it in the morning? Should I do it in the evening? What if I'm mixing it with this compound? So those are all the things that we're so excited that you and I don't have to have all the answers. We've got a trusted place to go. And I don't know what she's going to answer. She's not, I know she's got the best database, and she's going to bring all that together in a way you can trust, and she gets smarter every week.
Yes. Wow. My gosh, this is incredible. You guys, I hope you all are listening to that. That is incredible stuff. I will definitely be looking that up and downloading that app on my phone, of course, as well. And, they have the apps that you can go in the grocery stores and they read the labels and things like that. But this is way beyond that. Clearly,
Dr. Gabby not only reads all the labels in the store for you, but she will personalize it to your health. So she might score food 47 out of 100, tell you what compounds are in, but then she'll say, Mike, for you, it's actually a 58 because you need a little more protein, and we're not as worried about this compound for you. Or she might say it's terrible for you because you have these things. So she keeps a medical history of you, and she's asking for that information when she posts that.
What a pleasant surprise with this information. That I'm just blown away by this. I mean, everybody, like, seriously, like, so how do you down? Is it both for Apple and Google?
We're just in the Apple store right now, so iOS, and we'll see how we're really trying to optimize that first. And because of the face scan technology working across multiple different devices on the Android store is a little more complex, but we've got it right for Apple, and one day we're going to get it right for Android.
That's crazy. That's such great information. This is so cool. I'm going to do it as soon as we get off the show here. I'm going to download that app. I think that is just amazing information, and everybody needs to know about that, because, again, I mean, you and I both know, we all know there's trusting the doctors, and you just, again, this has a lot to do with even the second MD you're talking about, like different opinions and things like that. It's like you got to, and Dr. Gabby is giving all these, obviously with all the information that she's learning every day. Those are like second and third and fourth, like 1,000 opinions on what the causes are and what treatment should be. It's amazing stuff.
Thank you very much.
Well, how can people get in touch with you? You want to send them to your Medici.ci?
Yes, you can go to medi.ci to Medici, or you can go to clintphillips.com. And on there, you'll see some of the work we're doing to make the world a better place, what we're doing in healthcare, a little of the journey that we're on. And there's a link there to Medici and to Dr. Gabby. So a few good resources to get there. We are so honored to be able to tell our story and be helping people. And we hope that we can have an impact
Awesome.
in everybody's life, including yours, Mike.
Absolutely, man. I'd love to have you on the show again for sure. Definitely, in a few months down the road, I'm sure you'll be some other fantastic piece of news and some development that you'll have for us, I'm sure. But when is this walking underwater, the mile, the Guinness record going to take place?
Yeah, that's probably going to happen around August. You're going to see some beautiful water, Bahamas, underneath, walking on the ocean floor. Hopefully some fish cruising around and people trying to run with a massive rock. So it's going to be fun.
Well, thank you so much again for being a guest on the show tonight. And I'm telling you, it might be one of our best shows as far as the information that you've provided us, and especially with Dr. Gabby, the app that you've just created. I think that's an amazing opportunity for people to kind of take control over their own lives, honestly. And this is exactly a tool that I would love to have access to, and clearly I will. But when everybody in general needs to have some tool like this that gives them information that's not as what a doctor would say, and just again going away from what the standard our common thought process is on our nutrition and so forth, and our lifestyles and things like that. So definitely thank you so much for being a guest on the show tonight. And with that said, we'll end the show, and then definitely have a great night, and we'll see you guys next Monday night on Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. Love you guys all, and we'll take care, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you. God bless, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching Zealous Wellness with Mike Hollis. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.